Hey, what's up, guys? Jasbro Gonzo here. What's next? Uh, we'll talk a little about Steven Crowder. I just got done doing 3 stories, and actually, this just came across me as I was just skimming past YouTube, um, getting some ideas and what have you. This, like I said, this is about Steven Crowder and the big tech ongoing war with this guy who's got, I think, close to 5 million subscribers. YouTube. He stayed in his YouTube box for so many years. I remember him doing young videos about 10 years ago on YouTube when he was a youngster, 18, 19 years old. Um, but now being the most visible of conservatives on the interwebs, maybe even more so than Ben Shapiro. Of course, Ben Shapiro has Daily Wire. He has other avenues that he can reach out to people. Crowder was just regulated to YouTube. I guess his own choosing. But the ongoing attacks by big tech, and of course Crowder, along with his legal team, has filed multiple lawsuits against Facebook, against YouTube, against Twitter, against Instagram, you name it. He's filed a lawsuit against it. And now it turns out that Steven Crowder is now mirroring his videos, publishing his videos on Rumble. You got to scratch your head and wonder why it took him so long. I did. I posted a question on his site in regards to now it's taking him being almost right now he's on the verge of being Alex Jones, and now he's reaching out to Rumble. BitChute's been out for a number of years. Why not reach out to them? Why not reach out to Odyssey? Why not reach out to Parler? MeWe, Gab, who's gotten their act together in the last year, and they have just they've been phenomenal. CloutHub, the newest kid on the block. So Crowder's got these different avenues that he can go to, but he has kept himself in the YouTube box up until now. But what we're going to do is there is a gentleman by the name of Chris Williamson who has a channel called Modern Wisdom, and he interviews Mike Knowles. Mike Knowles, who is part of the Daily Wire team, along with Ben Shapiro and Andrew Klavan. So we're going to watch a little bit of this, and
yes, I mean, they are gunning for him, I think, in a special way, because they can go after him on the jokes, and they can say the jokes were too far, and because he's so mainstream. I think he may be the most mainstream conservative that big tech has really gone after.
What do you think we've got to learn from his situation at the moment?
Well, I mean, the man has cojones of steel. He may be a complete lunatic. He's got such brass couillons, I mean,
very true.
I've seen this guy be waterboarded for a very long time.
Man has no fear.
He's done all sorts of crazy things.
But there are those on the conservative side also who have questioned his, his conservatism.
The point that he and I were discussing this the other day.
I've challenged them, but that's what's going to happen.
Alex Jones. Oh, well, Alex Jones, he's just a kooky far-right guy. Turns out he actually appears to have been right about everything.
Terrifyingly.
The more we learn about the gay frogs, and I mean, well, Alex Jones, he's a fringe figure. Okay, you go after him. You go after Gavin McInnes. Gavin McInnes founded the Proud Boys, very funny comedian. But no, his jokes, they went too far. Okay, you got to get rid of Gavin McInnes. Now you're going after Steven Crowder. I mean, Steven Crowder, I think he has the largest online following of any conservative, basically, certainly in the top 3.
Now, let me stop that for a second. People forget about Lauren Southern. Lauren Southern, who recently just got back onto YouTube, probably within the last maybe 6 months. She literally stepped away to get married, start a family. She was doing documentaries the last couple of years. She was one of the first, before Alex Jones, to get canceled. Patreon canceled Lauren Southern because of a supposed money issue that she was using her money in regards to a situation over in Europe regarding migrants. And of course, that was just pushed to the side, and that was dismissed and debunked. But she was one of the first, and a lot of people tend to forget that. That Lauren Southern was probably the first to get canceled off a platform, Patreon.
You go after and you take him out, they can take out any one of us. And I think that's really what this is about.
Very true. It's very true.
I give them a lot of credit. You know, I sometimes think if the big tech oligarchs have not gone after you at all, it means you're doing something wrong. It means that, you know, you're... when I think of the really squishy conservative types, you know, the ones who write for The Atlantic and The Washington Post and go on MSNBC or whatever, I realize they're actually worse than the left. Because the left is being honestly dishonest, right? The left is telling you what it believes and all the ghastly things it wants to do. But these guys exist to legitimize the leftist, the liberal establishment. Their role is to act as a court jester in the kingdom of liberalism. And so whenever you have an actual conservative raising actual questions that might seriously threaten the left, well, they can't tolerate it. You're not going to get your CNN invitation, and more like...
That's true. That is true. Those like Mike Knowles, for example, who got kicked off of Fox because he spoke the truth regarding little Greta, saying that, you know what, you don't have a young girl like this who's got mental issues, and she does. She clearly states it because her parents have clearly stated that she does. You don't use her as a prop, you know, to push a false narrative regarding climate change. And for that, Michael Knowles was kicked off of Fox. He was banned from Fox News. Of all places, Fox News, and has never appeared again. So, yeah, he speaks from knowledge. The man speaks from knowledge.
Likely they're going to try to boot you off like they're doing to Crowder.
The interesting thing with talking about Gavin McInnes and Alex Jones is that although those guys had huge, especially Alex, right, like a terrifyingly big audience, and he's still holding on to it, you know, he's broadcasting every day for ridiculous numbers of hours, even more.
Now, regarding Alex Jones, and of course now the phrase is, you know, if someone gets a platform, someone gets demonetized, or if he gets struck down, oh, you got Alex Jones. Now it's become part of the lexicon. But Alex Jones, I have to disagree with Chris here, is that because he has the audience, but he doesn't have the audience that he did on YouTube. He had 2 or 3 million subscribers. He doesn't have that on his website. Why? Because he's been diminished to his website. They can't kick him off the internet, but when you get kicked off the platform planets, as he did, you're gonna have people who are going to still flock to you, who are still going to follow you, because a lot of the stuff turns out that Alex Jones was right. But you don't have that platform punch. And sadly, that's what Alex Jones now has been relegated to, his website only, and, you know, guest appearances on Crowder and what have you.
More than you guys. It certainly does feel like once someone is pulled out of the delivery mechanism of normal social media, the YouTubes, the Twitters, so on and
Just
so
as I said,
Milo
yeah.
Yiannopoulos, where the fuck's he?
Yeah,
You know, like, what's
there you go,
I
Milo.
saw him throw a
Milo.
£500,000
Gay conservative,
Hawaii
flamboyant.
a couple of weeks ago, and I was like,
You know,
Milo, you...
and he's like, where is he? You know, where is Milo now? And of course, nobody knows, and most conservatives are like, yeah, we don't care. You know, he was part of the alt tech, you know, when they were trying to shove that down people's throats.
been drinking. Like that was, but I haven't seen him for ages. I'm like, oh, he's still got a YouTube account. Like
This is something so
Wow.
few people understand. The utility of YouTube is not primarily as a broadcast device. It's a fine broadcast system, and there are lots of broadcast systems, and that the utility of YouTube is the ability of discovery, right? The fact that new people then are going to find your stuff. So if you get booted out, and let's say you take your 1 million person audience with you, or your 2 million person audience with you. Okay, 2 million people out, and who knows how many of those will remain active. That's it. That's all you've got, and it will not grow, and it will actually shrink over time as people die and get interested in other things and go away. So
Truth.
yes, that's not a victory at all.
And that does happen.
And the
That happens
censorship
even
and
to
ostracism
even
is
to
real. I mean,
live
Milo
channels.
Yiannopoulos got truly canceled, truly unpersoned, and now he's out of the public discourse. So
My thoughts. As I said during the video, that they are trying their damnedest, big tech, to Alex Jones, Steven Crowder. Like I said, big tech does not like Steven Crowder. They don't like Ben Shapiro. They don't like Bill Whittle. They don't like they don't like Steve Green. They don't like Colin Noir. They don't like Dana Lash. They don't like other conservatives who have big channels. Even those who are not into conservatism, but who basically have a different opinion than the left, have been dragged into this, like Geeks and Gamers. And they have seized the opportunity. Eric July seized the opportunity. Young Ripper 59. And the personalities that they have over at Geeks and Gamers have been dragged into the political realm because of how politics has cancerified Star Wars and Star Trek and just in movies and television and fantasy across the board. So with this is something that's very interesting, is that when you have a cancel culture that is hell-bent on getting rid of one of the most prominent conservative voices on the interwebs, just as Mike Knowles says, if they can get rid of Alex Jones, if they can temporarily kick Laura Southern off, if they can deplatform Jordan Peterson and Sargon of Akkad, and these are not traditional conservatives per se. Well, I mean, Sargon of Akkad and it will be Sargon of Akkad. Alex Jones, Milo, they kick Mike Knowles off of Fox. If they can do all this and they can get rid of and delegitimize Steven Crowder, they can do it to you and they can do it to me. And with that being said, I'm Jasper Gonzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. That's the third time I hit the mic today. And we'll catch you guys later. Peace.